Today I am going to start from network architecture. Okay, architecture. What is the meaning of architecture? Architecture means the base plan of anything. For example, when we talk about the architecture of a building, we talk about the base plan of the building, where we will put the drawing room, where we will put the bedroom, where it will be the parking area. So the basic structure of anything is called the architecture. So when we talk about the network architecture means the overall framework, or the overall design, okay, of an organization's computer network. When we talk about computer network, the network architecture means the overall design or overall framework of any organization's network. You need to know the network architecture, then only you will be able to create a network. So if you want to establish network communication, means if you want to create a network, it is important to have a detailed view of all the accessible resources in it. Means you need to have information about all the resources, means all the things that you are going to use. You have to have the information about the wire, how you will attach the wire, the hardware that you are going to use, everything. You should be having information about everything that you are going to use. So this thing, network architecture, is very important because you need to know it, then only you will be able to create a network. For example, network architecture includes these things. You should be having information about the hardware components that you are going to use for communication. For example, you need to have information about hub or switch. You need to have information about the wire that you are going to use, okay, computers that you are going to attach, any extra hardware that you are going to use, for example firewall. So whatever hardware components you are going to use will comprise network architecture. Next thing is topology. Topology means how you are going to connect the computers, means the way, the scheme by which you are going to connect the computers. You should know directly you are connecting the computers, or you will connect the computers in a different way. You should know, you should have knowledge of all of the topology, then only you will try one. Whether you are going to create a wired network or wireless network, you should know, because if you are going to create a wired network, then you will rely upon wired network hardware like hub or switch, or wire like RJ45. Or if you are going to create a wireless connection, then you will go for the devices like router, okay. And the protocol is very important. There are different protocols that are used to send or receive data. Whenever we send data on the network, this data is sent in the form of packet, okay. On a network, whenever we are sending data, it is sent in the form of packet. So how will this packet go and how will this packet will be received by the computer is decided by some rules. Some rules are there. These rules are called protocols. For example, TCP protocol, transmission control protocol, how transmission will go on. So it is a protocol over the internet, rules over the internet, how you will dismantle the, for example, you are having a 20 MB file. So this 20 MB file will not go directly, it will go in packet. Suppose one packet of 1 MB, so you will need 20 packet. So packets will break here in 20 parts of 1 MB each, and at the destination computer they will assemble 1 MB combined together, create the file that you are having. So how will these files break and how will these files reassemble at the destination computer is decided by the protocol. We have different protocols like TCP, transmission control protocol, IP, internet protocol. Some more protocols are there for email also, SMTP, simple mail transfer protocol. So all of these things you should know. The hardware you're going to use, the topology means the way you are going to connect the computers, whether it will be wired or wireless connection, and the protocols. Next, we are going to study the type of network architecture. There are two types of network architecture. One is peer-to-peer and one is client-server. So first of all, we will see this one, that is peer-to-peer, also known as P2P. Here you can see it is a direct connection. All the four computers are directly connected to each other. This one you can see is connected to all three other computers. This one also directly, this one also directly, and this one also directly. So this type of network architecture is suitable for a small environment, means if you have 4 or 5 or 10 computers, then you can go for this type of network architecture. Usually if you are having 10 computers, each computer connected over the network has equal capability. You can see every computer has the same power, has the same resource. No any other computer has more power than the other. So every computer is having equal capability. It means that every computer has same computing power, same RAM, same memory. Okay, so no any other computer is better than any other computer. These computers must have specific rights to use or share the available resources. It means that if you want to connect to this computer, both the computers should be able to access each other's memory, should be able to access each other's RAM, each other's software. Means every access should be there. If this computer is trying to get data from this computer, so it should be able to get it from any part of the computer. So specific rights, every computer should be having special rights to use or share the available resources of any other computer. So total access we have to give, total access of memory, total access of data, everything. In peer-to-peer network, there is no dedicated network administrator, means hub or switch. You can see no hub or switch is there. Directly wires are used to connect these computers. So no network administrator or no server is there. No central server. In the center there is no any big computer that is catering to other computers, nor we are using any network administrator like hub or switch. It means that each computer will act as server as well as client. Suppose this computer is asking for data from this computer. So this computer is asking for the data, so this computer will become client, and this will give the data, this will become server. So at any time any computer can become server also and client also. So right now suppose it is asking for data, it is client right now, it is server. But if now this computer is asked to give the data from this computer, so now it will become the server, it will become the client. So any computer that will give or serve will be called server, and that computer which will ask for data will be called client. So one will be giver and one will be taker. The giver of the data or information will be server, and the computer which will take the information will be called client. This network is very easy to set up because you need only wire and directly connect all the computers together, and it is very less expensive. Less expensive means you do not need to spend so much, because you are not going to buy any hub or switch, you are not buying any extra server. That is why it is less expensive. Next is client server architecture. In this type of architecture, the computers are like this: client, 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 and there is a one central server. Okay, and this server is having access of all the client computers, all the client computers memory, all the client computers computing power, their RAM, their data, memory, everything. So suppose this computer, this client asks for data from this computer, so it will not ask this computer, it will ask the server, because server is having access of everything. So directly server will get the data and give it to the client computer. So it is a network in which several computers called clients are connected to the main computer called the server. Now this server computer has more power, more memory, everything is more than the client computer. A server in a network is a computer that controls all the connected computers. This server controls all these connected computers, this one, this one, this one and this one. Every access of all of these computers the server is having. If we are using any shared device like printer, so if this client computer is using any printer, then also server is having access of that printer, or any other resource used by the client computer is in control of the main server computer. Everything, either you attach any pen drive, that is also accessible to the server. Now clients are the computer that request services. For example, this is the client computer, it will request service from the main server computer. For example, they need data. Suppose this client needs data from the server, so it will ask the server. It is the client, it is the server. Suppose they need storage space from the server, so they will ask it from the server. So every computer here that will ask for the service is actually the client computer. Now there is a problem in this network. If the server is turned off, if the server is not present, if there is a hardware failure in the server, if the server is not getting power, electricity, and it is turned off, its resources on the network will not be available. The clients will not be able to approach the server computer for any information, for any data retrieval, for any storage. They will not be able to contact it. So this type of network we create in a LAN, but when we talk about the internet, client server architecture in internet, it is like this: computer, tablet, games, printers. Now all of these are connected to the main server either in America, India, wherever, and we all are connected through internet. This is the client side, this is the server side, and we all are connected through the internet. But here also same thing is going on. These client computers are asking for data, storage, information, software, and these server computers, so many server computers together are giving the data over the internet. Next we are going to study is network topology. I just told you network topology means the scheme, the way you are going to connect the computers together. There are so many ways by which we can connect them. It is a basic diagram. After making this diagram, you will be able to create a network if you know how you are going to connect all the computers. So network topology actually means the schematic description, means total description, diagrammic description of the various component of the network. What are the components of the network? Node means computers, link means wires. So you have to have information about computers, how you are going to connect them using wire, or if you are going to attach any peripherals like printer or scanner, where you are going to attach them. So you need to know the network topology before creating a network. It is very important. It determines how the data will flow within the network, how data will go within the network. So there are so many types of network topology. Here we are asking about one point to point, ring topology, star topology, bus topology, mesh topology, tree topology. One by one we are going to study about them. Here you can see different computers are connected to each other in different manner. Different wire methods are used. Sometimes we have the computer directly connected also. Let us see these. First is point to point topology, the simplest topology and the most conventional, means most easy to create topology. In this topology, two nodes means two computers are directly connected to each other. For example, when you connect a computer to a printer, that is a point-to-point topology. Here you can see two computers are there and we have connected these two computers directly through wire. That is also point-to-point topology. So two nodes or two computers are directly connected to each other. Here computer and printer is connected. These are also called nodes. So here they are directly connected. So in this network, a dedicated link is formed, means a direct link is formed between the two devices. Here you can see both the devices have a direct link. They are directly connected to each other through wire. Now one computer will become the sender and one will become the receiver. Suppose this will send data to this computer. So this will be the sender, this will be the receiver. It is very fast to create because the computers are directly connected, very reliable, very secure. No one from outside can come and get data from both of these computers because there is no external access. There is a direct connection between the devices, but the network can only be used in small areas. In your room, in your building you can use it, in your house you can use it. Computers should be in close proximity. Whenever you connect your computer or laptop with your mobile phone, that is also point-to-point topology, direct connection. In direct connection, the computer should be close, very close, not far. Next we are having bus topology. In this type of topology, all the devices are connected to a cable. Here you can see this is the cable, and all the computers are connected to its branches. This cable is called bus or trunk, and from there it gets the name bus topology. This network is very easy. Directly take a wire and attach all the computers by making branches from the wire. Very inexpensive, no need to buy any external thing, and very easy to implement. But if you are having a small network, in this topology, one of the computer is the network act as server. Okay, suppose here we have 6 computers, and suppose this computer ask for data from this computer. So one computer, this one will become the server and this will become the client. So in this topology, one of the computer network act as server and then provides data to all the client computers. The advantage of this network is that if one computer system breaks or fails, suppose this computer system broken, okay, it will not have any effect on other computers because the wire will still be able to carry data. Suppose this computer broke down, but still their transfer is going on between these two computers. See, no problem in the transfer of data between these two computers. So if one computer breaks down, it does not affect the other system over the network. But there is a problem. If the main cable fails, if there is a problem in the main cable, main wire, then the entire network will become unusable. You will not be able to send or receive the data because the main wire is not working. So you have to maintain wire at any cost in bus topology. Now we have the ring topology. As the name suggests, you can see it is like a ring. Okay, in this topology, in this connection type, in this way of connecting the computers, all the nodes, means all the computers, are connected to one another in the form of ring. Here you can see it forms a ring. Each node is linked to two other nodes. For example, this one, this computer is connected to two other computers, this one also, this one also, forming a circular ring pathway for signals. This creates a circular path for sending or receiving the signal. In this network, data travels in a circular manner. You can see in a circular manner data is traveling like this. Ring shaped networks offer very high speed because here also you can see it is a direct connection, and direct connections offer very high speed and you can use it for long distances also. But this topology is not used today so much because it offers only unidirectional data flow. only in one directional data is going. For example, if we have these two computers, this one and this one, okay, if this computer asks for data from this computer, it will directly give. You can see, directly give, because this is the direction. But if this computer is in need of data from this computer, it cannot give directly, it will give like this. The whole long route it has to cover. First it will go from here to here, then here, and then here. So it only allows unidirectional flow of data, means only in one direction. Now suppose this computer breaks, there will be a network disruption. This computer will not be able to send data to this computer, because in between the computer has broken. So data will go from here to here, then from here, after that it will not be able to move. So in bus topology also and ring topology also, if you add or remove any system, it will create network disruption, because all are connected through a single wire. So if you do anything with the wire, then it will disturb the network. Moreover, a single break in the connection could disrupt the entire network. If there is a single problem in the network, it will disrupt the entire computer network. The computers will not be able to communicate or send or receive data. Next we have the star topology. In this type of structure, all the devices are connected to a central device. Here we have a central device. This will be hub or switch, which acts as hub or switch. Each device, each computer is linked to the central hub through a separate connection. You can see, through a direct connection and through a separate direct connection, each computer is connected. Benefit is that if there is a connection failure, if there is a failure in the connection, it would affect only the functioning of a single system on the network. Suppose this computer broke down, this computer had a wire problem or hardware failure, there will not be any effect of on any other computer. All the other computers will easily be able to receive and get data from hub or switch. So if there is a connection failure, it would affect only the functioning of a single system on the network. Unlike the bus and ring topology, no disruption will be caused when you will add or remove any system, means any computer. Suppose I am adding one more computer here, so no problem, directly attach one wire in the computer, one wire in the hub or switch, and start using. So no other computer will be having any problem, they will still be able to receive or get the data. Okay, so all the information will first go to the central device, that is hub or switch, and then it will go to the respective system. Suppose it will ask for data, this computer asking for data from this computer, it will first send data to the hub or switch, and then hub or switch will send it to the other computer. Therefore we can say a hub or switch controls the network communication, means communication over the network, data transfer over the network. Since all the data passes through the central device, means the main device, hub or switch, it increases the threat of a single point failure. Means if this hub or switch fails, if this hub or central device fails, then the entire network will go down. The entire network will not be able to access data, receive data, because hub is not working. All the computers transfer data using hub. Next one is tree topology. A tree topology connects a star network to another star network. Okay. Here you can see we have the star topology, and this star topology is connected to a hub. Now if we connect multiple star topology, for example here we have a star topology, here we have a star topology. Okay, so here we have a star topology, here also we have a star topology. If we connect two star topologies together, it will be called tree topology. So a tree topology connects a star network to another star network. One star network is connected to another star network. Thus, tree topology is formed with a group of star networks connected to a bus. As you can see, star network connected to a wire, star network connected to a wire. Therefore, this topology is also called star bus topology, because star networks, star topology is connected to bus topology or connected to a bus, to a wire. In this topology, if the main cable that connects to star topology, means this one is the main cable that connects to star topology, if this fails, then these two network will not be able to communicate. In between they will be able to communicate. One tree, one star will be able to communicate. This one, these computers will be able to communicate. These computers will be able to communicate, but these two will not be able to communicate with each other. However, if the system on the individual star topology would still be able to communicate internally, these star will be able to communicate with them internally. In tree topology, expansion of network is very easy. Just attach a wire, create one more star topology and connect them. One more network is created. Means actually what we are doing, we are connecting multiple LAN together right now. So that in tree topology the expansion of network is very easy. However, maintenance is very difficult and very complex. Suppose if system fails, so you are not knowing where system failed, in which star topology we have a failure of the network. So that will be a problem. Last topology is mesh topology. There is a direct topology. In this topology, each node or each computer has a point-to-point link with each other. Means they are directly connected to each other. A single computer does not act as a server. Every computer has same power. That is like P2P system architecture. It is not server client based. It is P2P, peer to peer. Every computer is a peer connected to every other peer. So every node, every computer not only sends its own signal, means sends its own data, it also relays data from other computers, means it also gets data from other computer. This network is also called meshnet. Here you have data security, because data is directly coming from this computer to this computer, no any computer is between, so it will have a more secure data connection and more privacy, since data is transmitted through dedicated channel, means direct channel, direct wire. It can manage high data traffic also, because direct connection is going on, so how much data you send, no problem. Sometimes when data goes from different servers and different computers then comes to the computer, then we can manage only very small or low level of data traffic. But here, because computers are sending direct data, then we can manage very high data traffic. Next topic is network security. It is very important to secure data and resources of the network from any unauthorized access. Means from outside access, the person is not authorized and he is still able to access your network or misuse your network. The main purpose of creating network security is to secure your information, your data, either your individual information or organization's information, and to protect any computer from any attack from virus. So if someone is not coming from outside, he or she will not be able to attack your computer, will not be able to get your data. So there are some methods that we use to keep our network secure, means to keep our computer secure. For example, one is access control. We give password. It blocks unauthorized users. Only that person will come who is authorized. he is only having access. So access code is given or password is given. So here using it we can block unauthorized users. Application security, here we put password in the application. The computer is free, anyone can use that computer, but there are some special applications which are password protected. So in software, in app or in any folder we make a password, so it will protect that application from any unauthorized access. Data loss prevention, whenever we are sending data over the internet or over the network, there are chances that might be we can load or send important information that we should not send. So here this data loss prevention technology will prevent upload or sending of any sensitive information by us outside the network. It will not allow sensitive information that is seen by computer as sensitive to go out. If I will send, then also it will not let me to send it. Now we have the last one, firewall. Firewall is a security system that protects the computer from unauthorized access over the network. It is like a guard outside the school. You will come, it will check your bag and it will let you go. It will let you go, but it will first check your bag. So likewise, it will let you go, but it will first check the data, what is coming. Data is secure, it will let the data go. What is going, where it's something you are sending over the network, then also it will check first and then it will allow to send. There is a rule that this thing can go, this thing can come. So a firewall either you can use as software or hardware. When you use in your computer with antivirus software, it is a software, and when you are using in hub or switch as a hardware, there it is a hardware. And sometimes we use both software and hardware. Software in our computer and hardware in hub or switch or server. Firewall follows a rule that checks which data can enter a network and which data can leave the network. Means a rule is there that which data can go outside the computer and which data can come in the computer. So this much was there.